So good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Donahue. For those of you that I don't know, thank you all for being here. We have a completely full house tonight, and we're so happy to have you all here. I'm the executive director of Catholic Charities, and again, we really, really appreciate you all being here. I don't know about that. So we're going to get started. I'm glad some of you have gotten started on your salads, but to really get this going, we need an opening prayer. And I'm really happy to introduce my good friend, Father Paul Murphy. Father Paul is from St. Thomas More in Darien. Like so many of you here, St. Thomas More is just one of our strongest volunteer parishes. Many, many folks from St. Thomas More help us out at New Covenant Center. And Father Paul has been such a strong supporter for many years. Those of you who know Father Paul, he had a bit of a health challenge over the last several months. And you scared a lot of us, Father Paul, but so happy to have you here, back almost close to full health. And really pleased that you're here to offer the opening invocation tonight. So let's hear it for Father Paul.
Thank you, Michael. And it is an honor for me to be asked to offer the invocation and the blessing of our meal. And for those of you who are already started on your salad, don't worry, I'm already halfway done with mine, hoping I had missed the blessing. But in any case, I try to make this short and sweet. But it's important, I think, we know that, or be mindful that tonight as we gather to honor the New Covenant Center and all the other many works the Catholic Charities do, is that we're doing so on the solemnity of the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Just last night, the bishops of the United States gathered to reconsecrate our wonderful country under God to the United States as we prepare to celebrate our 250th anniversary of the great country that we are, the great democratic experiment that continues to be a beacon light to nations around the world. But in any case, to get back to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, it's a devotion, if you don't know, that goes back to the 17th century in France at a time where something called Jansenism, there was a movement within the church that was actually a heresy, was declared a heresy, that called for very, very cold rigorism for Christians, and the church condemned it. And during that time, our Lord appeared to St. Margaret Mary and asked her to make known and to promote a devotion to his Sacred Heart, that people be reminded that our God is not cold. Our God is a God of love and mercy, and that love and mercy flows from the Sacred Heart of Jesus on all men and women, saint and sinner. He is there for all of us. And he asked her to promote the devotion that we continue to celebrate throughout the church, and with its great feast day today. The whole month is dedicated to devotion to the Sacred Heart. That all of us might always have the confidence to entrust everything of ours to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And by that, our Lord meant to entrust to him all our fears and all our hopes, all our present challenges, and all our future aspirations. Devotion to the Sacred Heart asks Jesus to be mindful that, Jesus wants us to be mindful that we should fear nothing from him. That he told Margaret Mary to make sure men and women knew that we could put all of our trust in him. He said to her and to all men and women, I am your protector. Let me reign in your heart. For it is a reign of love and hope and peace and joy. And let no one deprive you of that love and mercy. And that sacred, loving heart of Jesus that beat with every breath he took while he walked on this earth continues to beat as he sits on his throne in heaven. So I'd ask us just to pause for a moment And be mindful at this very moment, the Sacred Heart of Jesus beating in our Savior's chest from his throne in heaven is pouring out his infinite love and mercy upon each and every one of us, upon every man and woman in the world, on our country, on our families, on our communities, and certainly on the New Covenant Center, its administrators, its staff, its clients, and our two honorees in a very special way. Bobby Anderson, who is being honored for her tremendous many years of service, and for John Gutman, who is entering into a well-deserved retirement. And we can look to them, I suppose, as images of the Sacred Heart here on earth, and give them thanks for all the love and mercy they have poured out on so many that they have served. And with that, let us, again, be mindful. We are in the presence of God who loves us, and the gentle heart of Jesus beating, loving each and every one of us and each and every one of those you love, especially those who are suffering and struggling. And let us ask God to bless this meal which you're about to receive from his bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Father Paul. You don't have to be quiet. You can eat. But I have a few thank yous, so if you don't mind. My name is Ginny Wong, and I became the chair of the Board of Advisors of Catholic Charities Stanford back in January. I'm so glad that you're all here tonight. Please go ahead, eat your salads. I know you've been waiting, so thank you. So thank you for showing up for New Covenant Center, for the staff, for the volunteers, and most importantly, for our neighbors who rely on us every day. If you're here as a donor, a volunteer, a sponsor, or a friend, you're part of the reason this place works. I also want to recognize the people who help steer this mission, our Board of Advisors. Nils Dahl, our most recent chair, did an outstanding job over the last few years. Unfortunately, he's not able to be with us tonight, but we are grateful for his leadership. We are truly blessed to have a dedicated board with many members who have more than two decades of service to this organization. And we're very excited to be expanding. This year, we welcome 4 new members: Monica Welch, Brant McKee, Rachel Alonzo Mendoza, and Susan Burke. Will all the members of the board stand for a moment so we can show you our appreciation? There you go. Thank you. Board service matters. It's a meaningful way to use your time and expertise to strengthen the work that's done at New Covenant Center for the long term. If you're interested in joining our board or learning more about the work that we do, please find me or another board member tonight. Since I got involved in New Covenant Center during the pandemic, I've had a front row seat on what makes this place so special. A small but mighty staff and an incredible community of volunteers who show up, pitch in, and somehow make the impossible look routine. We're at a very exciting turning point. In the next couple of months, we'll be moving to a new, larger space, which is truly thrilling. And you'll hear a lot about that tonight. But what's most exciting to me is what it will make possible: reaching more people, creating real pathways to stability, and giving us more room to meet people where they are. We are deeply grateful to Catholic Charities of Fairfield County for their leadership, support, and for everything that they do behind the scenes to make this move possible. I also want to thank our Soirée committee, chaired by Sarita Hanley, for planning and delivering this beautiful evening. and for getting us in before the rain came. I just want to close with a few more thank yous. To our donors and event sponsors, thank you. You keep the doors open, the pantry stocked, and the meals coming. To my fellow board members, thank you. You show up, you step in, and you follow through. To our volunteers, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You make everything possible, and you make it human. To Mike Donahue, Betsy Lopez, Maureen Newberger, and their incredible staffs, thank you. Thank you for showing up with compassion and professionalism even on the hard days, especially on the hard days. Now it's my honor to introduce our next speaker, former Executive Director John Goodman. Goodman, oh my gosh. Who are you? What's your name? John Gutman. John led the New Covenant Center for more than a decade, including through the pandemic and 2 major transitions. We're grateful to his dedication to our mission. Please join me in welcoming John Gutman. What a day. Can one of my children come up?
We needed steps. Thank you, Ginny, for your kind words. And I'm going to segue because over 600 volunteers are a crucial resource for New Covenant Center. Some are here tonight, and hopefully many of the new attendees will be inspired to join us as a volunteer following tonight. Bobby Anderson has been a volunteer for 35 of New Covenant's 48 years. Bobby's from England, you will soon find out, and moved to Stamford in 1985, where she became a parishioner at First Presbyterian Church. Bobby joined the parish's volunteer team, serving lunch once a month at New Covenant, and shortly after, she became the team leader. No surprise. In January 2024, our food pantry associate, Linda Williams, started a coffee and Danish breakfast. She needed help. And of course, Bobby jumped in, taking this on as a movement with pride, drive, spirit, and passion. But let me tell you, these breakfasts are several course meals, all balanced with proteins and fruit every day. Culinary award worthy for sure. So it's my honor, everyone, to welcome this year's recipient of the 10th Annual New Covenant Center Founders Award, to Bobby Anderson. You want to go that long way? There's steps.
Bob.
Thank you, John. I'm humbled by this recognition. For those who do not know me, I have volunteered at New Covenant House for several decades. Wait, I need some glasses. Over the past 3 years, I have had the privilege of helping build something special, our breakfast program. We started serving about 30 guests in 2024, and this past winter we were up at 120 guests each morning. This award is not mine alone. I share it with what John calls the Breakfast Bunch, an incredible group of volunteers who saw a need and stepped up with generosity and love. Linda had the vision to start the program. Hank saw the lines growing longer and jumped in. And he brought Joan, Laura, and Dean along with him. There is Nancy, Margaret, Laurie, Sue, Manisha, Frank, Lisa, John, Liza, Carol, and our barista, Guillaume. The ladies from St. Bridget, led by Janet Roma, started a muffin ministry, and they send us 4 dozen home-baked muffins every week. It truly takes a community to make this happen. Breakfast does not just appear. It is a carefully choreographed effort. As we search for ingredients for each meal, it can feel a bit like an episode of Chopped. Each morning, we make sure there is a warm, nourishing meal, and more importantly, a welcoming presence. We are still waiting to be nominated for Connecticut Magazine's Best Free Breakfast in Stamford. One morning, while serving breakfast, I told Egypt that he was our last guest. He looked at me and said, "I'm not a guest, I'm family." And that stayed with me. That is what this place is. Our guests arrive carrying the weight of a world that does not always respect their dignity. Here, they are seen, they are welcomed, they are known. We know who likes an extra egg, who wants the cheese on the side, who needs yogurt for their child. Those small details matter. They say, "I see you." While individual efforts may feel small, together they create real change. Food is my language of love. I believe in a God that calls us to care for one another, especially the least among us. Thank you for supporting New Covenant Center, helping keep the lights on and the doors open. And as we look ahead to our new space, I ask for your continued prayers and generosity. When we come together, we not only serve meals, we build a family. Thank you.
Okay, continue eating your salad, but we have one more important person to recognize this evening. So for the past 11 and a half years, John Gutman has been the face, the heart, and the soul of New Covenant Center. He's talked about retiring for a few years now, but we wouldn't listen and we wouldn't let him go. However, as of July 1st, John will transition to a part-time role with plans to fully retire by the end of 2026. During his tenure, New Covenant Center has grown tremendously, not only in meal service and food distribution, but also in the additional services to help our guests improve their lives. New Covenant Center is open 7 days a week, 360 days a year, and you'd be hard-pressed to find many of those days that John didn't just stop by to check in, to lend a hand, or make someone feel supported. That's who John is. John's an energetic, compassionate, deeply empathetic leader. His leadership shone brightest during the COVID epidemic, certainly the most challenging period in our history. Practically overnight, New Covenant Center went from serving 150 guests a day to 700 guests in a day. And most of our volunteers had to pause their service, but John and his team ran into the fire every single day. They showed up to ensure our guests and many nonprofit partners across Stanford had the food and the support that they desperately needed at this difficult time. And New Covenant Center didn't close one single day during the entire COVID pandemic. And that's a credit to John's leadership, and his leadership in its purest form, unwavering, courageous, and grounded in humility. While John will be deeply missed, he leaves behind a strong, talented, and compassionate team that he's mentored and prepared for this moment. Maureen Newberger, who has led our senior nutrition programs for 11 years, will step into the role of Stanford Family Center Director. Maureen, can you stand up? Thank you. And Betsy Lopez, who for 16 years has served as Operations Director and Assistant Director, is now the Director of New Covenant Center. Betsy, can you please stand? Where's Betsy? Where is Betsy? Can you stand? There's Betsy right over there. And you will hear more from Betsy later. And then there's Raphael Hilaire, a longtime New Covenant Center veteran known to many of you who have volunteered. There's Raphael. And Raphael is stepping up to be our new operations director, so thank you, Raphael. But John, back to you. John, I hope you understand the enormous impact you have had on this community, especially on our most vulnerable neighbors. Your legacy is not only what New Covenant Center has accomplished, but in the compassion, dignity, and respect that you've shown to every person who's walked through our doors. In recognition of our gratitude and to honor all that you have done, the director's office and our new building will bear your name. As a lasting reminder of your leadership, your heart, and your extraordinary contributions to the New Covenant Center community. John, please come up here.
So that's a curveball. Yeah, Joe Girardi's in those. He's caught a few of those. And I'm really happy to share it with my brother Steve, who's in town with his fiancée Michelle. So thank you. This is only going to be a minute. Thank you, Mike. This is my 24th major New Covenant Center fundraiser in which I am participating. It also happens to be, as my brother knows, my lucky number. So I think somebody's looking down. Coming to Catholic Charities when I was 59 years old has turned out to be a lifetime incarnation, if you will. I have been truly blessed to work with you, Mike, and to be granted the latitude and creative freedom to lead New Covenant Center. And to work with a phenomenal New Covenant Center and Catholic Charities staff. I'm going to steal a line from Bobby. This is a family. And we've achieved a lot. And we've dealt with many challenges, such as COVID and inflation, but nothing gives me more gratitude. After 11 and a half years, to hear our guests say dozens of times to me and our staff, thank you. Simple words, thank you, every day. Betsy, it's been a great run as your colleague, working shoulder to shoulder, and I know you and Maureen will make a dynamic duo in leading the transformational next chapter. Thank you to Ginny Wong and our advisory board and the 4 other chairpersons that I've worked with. Truly a blessing. And thanks to all of you, the partners, the volunteers, the donors of New Covenant Center. You inspired me to try to do the best that I could do. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I promise we're finally going to let you eat. But we do have a 2-minute video that talks a little bit about our new home. So give us 2 minutes and then enjoy your meal. And then we'll be back with Joe Girardi on a little fireside chat, which is going to be fantastic. So enjoy the meal, but please just spend a minute or two to take in this video. Thank you.
As New Covenant Center approaches 48 years of service, one thing has never changed: our commitment to welcoming every person with dignity and respect. We remain Stanford's only soup kitchen and cafe, open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner nearly every day of the year. A dependable lifeline for our neighbors. Since our beginning in a small basement in 1978, we have expanded again and again as food insecurity rose.
The walls may be new, but the mission remains the same: to welcome every person with dignity, to feed those who are hungry, to support those facing hardship, and to help our neighbors build stronger, more stable futures. This new Catholic Charities Stanford is more than a building. It is a commitment to serve not only today's needs, but tomorrow's opportunities. Because every meal served, every senior supported, every family assisted, and every life changed begins with one simple belief: everyone deserves hope, and everyone deserves the chance to move forward.
This new home is a promise that Catholic Charities and New Covenant Center will continue to show up every day for every neighbor who needs us. We see you, we are here for you, and we are growing because you matter.
All right, everybody, can I have your attention, please? Hello, hello. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their meal. Hello. All right, there we go over there. Good evening again. So now, sorry it took a little while to get the meals out. I hope everybody had a great meal. But now we have a real treat. I know you didn't come here to see me, but we're really excited that we have Joe Girardi with us. So I'm going to turn our program over to my colleague and our Director of Philanthropy, Krista Ventrelli, who does an outstanding job for us, and she is going to lead the fireside chat with Joe Girardi. Take it away, Krista.
All right. We'll be getting started with our program, and feel free to keep finishing up your dinner, and then please enjoy your dessert as we go. We've requested a special exemption for you from our special guest, who famously banned sweets from the Yankees clubhouse. Anyway, oh, that's not true? Oh, you'll have to tell us all about it. All right. So it's an honor to introduce our guest tonight, baseball legend Joe Girardi. Oh, all right.
So I'm going to start off by answering that question, right?
Go.
We had a nutritionist. They hired a nutritionist. The nutritionist banned the donuts and the ice cream, and I got blamed. And I used to bring donuts into the guys on Sundays. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And that story has stuck with you for a long time. I mean,
Yes, it has.
yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to keep honoring you here.
Okay.
Okay. So, Joe's journey is defined by excellence, spanning many decades in Major League Baseball. He's also known for his character off the field. But as a catcher, Joe won 3 World Series titles with the Yankees. He then went on and earned National League Manager of the Year. And then he managed the New York Yankees to their 27th World Series championship. And you're chomping at the bit over there. Did you know he's been married to his wife Kim for 36 years, I think?
Correct.
And he has 3 young adult children. Joe knows what it takes to reach the pinnacle of success, famously noting that to truly understand the drive to win, you have to get to the top to see how great it is up there. So let's go.
All right, let's go.
All right, Joe Girardi. All right, so we're going to talk baseball, but we're also going to talk about what it is to be a leader off the field, just the same. Okay. Let's start at the beginning. You were born in East Peoria, Illinois. You're one of 5 kids in a Catholic family.
Correct.
So what was important to your parents in raising the kids, and like how did sports fit into that?
Education, faith, family, and sports. But the others came first. If we didn't get good grades, we weren't allowed to play sports. I was an altar boy through 8th grade. Had a paper route until 8th grade. But I grew up in a great family. It was a family where very competitive. You know, I had 2 older brothers, an older sister and a younger brother. My father, I followed my father around wherever he went. If he was walking and he stopped, I ran into him. I traveled. He was a salesman. He worked 3 jobs. I would ride in the car and listen to Cub games. So I was a huge Cubs fan, listening to Jack Brickhouse and Lou Boudreau. And I had a dream, and I'm fortunate that I got to achieve my dream. My dream was to play for the Chicago Cubs, and I got to do that.
After high school, you went on to catch at Northwestern. Sidebar, I know you met Andrew Wong here.
I did. There's a lot of... How many Northwestern people are in here? There's a few, right?
I see one back there, one here. Go Wildcats.
Go Cats.
So Andrew's going to be a pitcher at Northwestern next year, just finishing up from his senior year at Fairfield Prep. And he is a Stanford native, and his mom, Ginny, was who kicked our evening off as advisory board chair. So go Wildcats. Okay, but in Evanston.
Yes.
Okay, so you played D1 baseball. You were president of the ATO House your freshman year.
Okay, that's not true either.
Okay. Oh.
See, this is the problem with Google.
I fact-checked.
I joined the ATO House my sophomore year, and then my junior year I moved out. It was too loud for me.
Okay. That sounds, okay. But you did major in industrial engineering.
I did do that, yes.
You did find faith.
Yes, we had faith, but I even found more.
You met your wife.
I sure did.
So this feels like a really full and rich time. And yet, you've spoken publicly that you lost your mom during that time too. So what stands out to you when you look back, like, on 20-year-old Joe?
So when I was a freshman in high school, my mother was diagnosed with cancer and given 3 to 6 months to live. It was very difficult. You know, as I said, I had two older brothers, an older sister, and a younger brother. And she was a fighter, tough, tiny Italian woman, 5'1", a child psychologist. Education was the most important thing in our family. I can remember her saying at times that, I just went through her chemo and just don't let me take too many of these pills because, I got to get through this, and she would get sick. But we had a great community that really helped us out. There were times they would take me in, take my brothers in. There was a pretty strong Lebanese contingent in Peoria, Illinois. They used to bring us food all the time. So through all this, through high school, my mom kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and she kept working. She never stopped working. And went to college, and my sophomore year, I went out after the season and played in the Cape Cod League, and I got a call that Mom wasn't going to make it. So jumped in my Ford Tempo. It was red, for all you people that remember that. Got stopped going 100 miles an hour because I was trying to get home, and I was following someone else who was going 100, right? And the policeman said, "Stay here, I'm going to get him, and then I'll come back for you," right? I didn't move. He came back, and he said, "Why were you going so fast?" I said, "My mom's going to die, and I need to get home." And he let me go. He just said, "Slow down." I was in Pennsylvania. That's quite a state to drive through, too. There's a lot there to see. Why there'd ever be a policeman on the road, who cares how fast you're going through? But she passed, and I made it home to see her take her last breath. She couldn't talk, but I saw her take her last breath. And it was very difficult. I stayed home. I was playing for the Katua Kettleers until through the funeral, and I went right back the next day. They told me, "Go back. You need to go play." I went and played, and teammates were great, but what stuck to me was my mom wanted to see three things. She wanted to see her son John get into med school. She wanted to see her son George get into med school. And she wanted to see my sister graduate from college. Those all happened in the month of May. She passed away in June. She had faith. She had struggles, but she had faith, and she knew it was time to go home. I prefer the ATO stuff better. But I learned about faith because she told us she had a vision that Jesus' arms were open. So you can see what she meant to her family. That was 1984. How many years is that? 42 years. And I still cry telling the story today. But she taught us about faith, right? And my mother and father were very giving. We were a middle-class family, 5 kids. My dad worked 3 jobs. I worked with him. He gave me my first $100 bill. He was a salesman. He tended bar at night, and he would lay bricks on the weekends. And I was 7 years old, and I was carrying the bricks and mixing the mud, and I was basically the laborer, and he gave me $100, and I never forgot it. So he taught me 2 really important lessons: the value of $1 when you work, and always finish the job. No matter what, finish your job. And I've lived by what my parents left inside of me.
Thank you for sharing that. That feels really important. Thank you. Back to baseball for a sec.
That's easier.
So after Northwestern, you were drafted by the Cubs, and so you became somewhat of a hometown hero in Chicago. Though, like my husband, a Chicago kid, he's like, Peoria isn't exactly next to Chicago.
It's halfway in between Chicago and St. Louis.
from his telling as a Chicago kid, like, if you won the spelling bee in your elementary school, you got to go to Peoria for the championships.
We had other things. We had Caterpillar there.
But after the Cubs, you played for the Rockies, and then you ended up at the Yankees. And with the Yankees, I'm sure there were lots of stellar moments, but a couple, like you got the opportunity to catch a no-hitter for Dwight Gooden, and then a perfect game for David Cone. So, there's only been 24 perfect games in Major League Baseball history. This is a rare moment. He says that he only shook you off one time, and that was in the ninth. So, like, I'd love to hear about what you brought to that moment to create that trust between you and that sense of knowing, and if there's anything those of us who are part of a team could take from that.
I think what I brought for David was stability. David was emotional, and we used to joke, David had to snap on someone before every game, whether it was me, the strength coach, the trainer, another player. He just had to get that emotion. And I never let his emotion affect me. I actually, at times, would laugh at him. He didn't see me laughing. But, like, there was a time I warmed him up in the bullpen, and I would go down, like, the last 5 or 6 minutes, and you might catch 15 pitches. They usually warm up with about 35. And he kicked me out after 2. I'm like, what? He goes, I don't want you to see what I have today. There was a couple other words with that. And I think he went like 7 innings. And there was another time I would walk out to the mound, and I remember he was, all of a sudden, he kind of lost the strike zone. And I said, Coney, and he's like, just shut the F up and get back there and catch, right? And I turn around and laugh, right? Because I knew his heart. I knew that there was an intensity in there and that he expected perfection from himself. And I never let it bother me. So I've always said, in the heat of the moment, I never take it personal. So, like, as a manager, I'd walk out to the mound and take someone out, and they would be mad. And in the media would say, well, like, he showed you up. I said, no, show me up. He wanted to stay in the game. Do you want him looking to come out of the game, right? So, for me, if it happens 2 days later and we're in the clubhouse, that's a different story. But we just had a connection because he was the emotional one and I was the non-emotional one. And I could just do my job, and we connected on pitch selection. And it was a joy for me because he was so creative. And I'm not a creative person by nature, but you could be creative with him on the pitch selection and the different arm angles, and it made it a blast, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
And catchers are often leaders, on the field, which is what makes them good managers. Like, what do you think developed in you behind the plate that led to you being a very effective manager?
It's interesting. I just answered this question yesterday. I was doing the Joe Torre documentary, and what it is, I think it's a couple things. We're the only person that sees everybody, and everybody sees you, right? Everything that you do, how hard you work, your intensity, they're always looking at you. The other thing is, I managed games backwards when I was a player, knowing, okay, I got this guy in the bullpen tonight, I got this guy in the bullpen, I got to get 6 innings out of my starter. Or I only have these 2 guys, I got to get 7. So the whole time you're managing. And you're managing knowing that the other team, what they like to do, they like to hit and run, they like to bunt, they're a patient team. You have to know all these sequencing for pitches. Guys take first pitch curveball, start them with a curveball. It's a free start. I had a good memorization skills, so I could memorize counts and what guys hit in certain counts and what pitches they liked. And you're managing the game back there. And I think it prepares us to manage in life because that's what you have to do. You have to take all the information that you have in your head and make the best possible decision. Here's the thing about being in a leadership role and making decisions. You can take all the information you have, and make the best possible decision, and it doesn't work because there's a human element. And as I was just discussing earlier, like I was talking about, some other managers, I said, people forget that the other team's trying to win too. Right? Like they think that everything you do is either going to be right or wrong, and the other team had nothing to do with it. They got a lot to do with it, right? And I happen to get involved in this dumb game where we play like 162 games, 180 days. And it's the only game you can do everything right and not be successful at times. You can hit a ball 110 miles an hour and it's an out. And you're like, son of a buck. But then you can hit a ball 40 miles an hour and it dribbles down the third baseline and it's a hit. Now the pitcher's mad. He did exactly what he wanted to do. He kept the ball on the ground and induced weak contact, but it was so weak it ended up being a hit. So I apologized to my son, Dante. I said, I'm sorry I put you in this game. I wish I could have put you in a game that there was more success. But it builds character, and it builds a toughness, and it builds a team because you rely on each other to get through tough times.
It's really interesting. I mean, people do know that about baseball, but it was interesting for me preparing for this and kind of looking at your, like, let's call it body of work in your baseball career, because there were like a lot of reasons for parades and plaques and celebration, but there were also these moments like that really called for some grit and some openness to what was next and kind of faith. Like one that came to mind when I was reading about you was you were manager of the Marlins. That was your first job.
This is a talent now. Listen to this.
Okay, so it was like there was, it was a low-paid team with young, low expectations, and this guy in his first year wins National League Manager of the Year. It's pretty amazing.
But
and in that same season, ownership lets him go.
got fired. 2 days after the season, I called my favorite coach and manager of all time, Don Zimmer. I was with Don Zimmer 10 of my first 11 years in the big leagues, whether he was the manager, the bench coach, or the bench coach. He was the bench coach in Colorado. I went there. He was the bench coach in New York. I went there, and I used to joke with him because he'd always say when he was retired, he was going to go to his boat dock in Treasure Island, Florida. And I said, don't go to your boat dock. I'm not ready to go yet. I'm not going to the boat dock with you, right? But I called Zim on that Monday. Last game was Sunday. I called him on Monday, and I said, Zim, I think I'm going to be fired, right? And I think, man, I'm going to get these great words of wisdom from Don Zimmer. He goes, welcome to the club, pal. And that's what he said to me. He said, look, you'll get another job. Don't worry about it, But for me, there was a ton of anxiety. And I think so many of us, whatever we're doing, we put our heart and soul into it. And when it's taken away from us, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place. And without my wife, I would have never made it. I was offered 2 jobs for the 2007 season. She said, don't take them. I said, what? She said, don't take them. They're not the right jobs. I said, are you crazy? She goes, I said, I may never get another. She said, wait. And then 2008, I got the New York Yankees job. And we went back to Chicago and spent time with our parents. Her father was getting older. My father had Alzheimer's. And we spent time with our families. And I think we honored our family. And I think the true father honored us, me and my wife, by giving us the New York Yankee job, because I never thought that was coming. I never thought Joe Torre would ever be fired. But as Zim said, you're hired to be fired, right? And I was fortunate, but I'm telling you what, for 6 months, I was a mess. For the Yankee job, it took about 3 years to get over it. That's how long it took me to mentally get over that I wasn't the New York Yankee, because I put my heart and soul in. I loved it. And we sacrifice so much when we do things. And I was like, it's gone, right? And I thought I'd never manage again. And then I got the Phillies job. And then I got fired there. So I've been fired 3 times, basically. And those are really hard times, but that's when you rely on your faith, because my wife always says, God has a plan for you to prosper, right? And she was always right. She was always smarter than I was. Even in school, she was smarter than I was at Northwestern. But her faith was really important to the stability of our family and to me as a person. And now, I mean, it was hard for me to go back to Yankee Stadium. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want to go. And then I started going back. And here's the great thing about when you go back. People remember you better than you actually were. Right? And they always say, you need to come back. You need to. No, I'm good. I'm not aging as fast anymore. And I sleep much better now that I don't manage. And my hair has just kind of stayed gray. But without that faith, because my wife has a ton of wisdom, and she will share with me all the time in the Bible, it says women have infinite wisdom. She shares that with me all the time. She also says there's nowhere in the Bible where you see women cook. She shares a lot with me, by the way. She said it's always the men, right, going out and getting the... So, but she always says God has a plan for your life. And I don't think if I went through everything I did, I could have drew it up any better. And she's so right.
How about a round of applause for Kim?
Yeah.
Go, Kim. Let's talk about you starting with the Yankees as a manager in 2008. Okay, so you walk in, and there's a new stadium on the horizon, super high expectations for the team, a lot of big personalities, and the scrutiny of the New York media, which maybe you were used to, maybe not. And so here's how you leaned into this. You're like, I know, I'm going to wear number 27. My way of signaling I want to win the 27th World Series championship for the New York Yankees. And?
I stole that from Tony La Russa.
Oh, cool.
I played 1 year for the Cardinals. I was hurt most of the year. And that was the signal from the man upstairs. It was time to retire from playing. But he wore the next championship he was trying to achieve in St. Louis, and that was his number. And I stole that from him. And, it's interesting. We all think we know what it's like to be in a certain position, but you don't truly know what it's like until you get there. I had a year of managing under my belt, and I thought, I know what it's like to be the Yankee. I'll be fine. I'm telling you what, you find out you have to wear so many different hats that I never had to wear in Miami, and different things that you have to do and people you have to answer to. But it was so much fun. I mean, as an athlete, you love the intensity and the expectations of the fans because it motivates you. And you feed off those energy because there's so many days that you go to the ballpark, you are exhausted. And people don't think, well, your game is not you're not running. It's exhausting because it's mentally exhausting because we're always failing. And there were days like I wouldn't feel like I would wake up until the second inning to where I got a foul tip off my mask. I was like, oh, okay, I'm in this game tonight. But the pressure always came from within for me, and that's how I handled it because I never thought there was anyone who wanted to win worse than I did. So I was hard on myself. Like, if I made a decision that didn't work, I would go over and over and over it. But you got to understand, like, I'm nerdy. I mean, they talk about analytics today. I was called Binder Joe because I was always researching numbers and trying to come up with every advantage that we had, and every decision was extremely well thought out. I watched video every morning before the game. I had a routine, and I wanted to win. So I didn't feel pressure from anyone else. I felt pressure from myself to be the best that I could because I owed it to everybody. That was my job. And I always felt the responsibility of, and this is something I wish I was probably better at, the whole organization. Because, like, if I get fired, my coaches get fired, maybe the general manager gets fired, maybe his 3 assistants get fired, all of a sudden people start getting fired because we didn't win. And I took that really personal. So I worked really hard. And I think some people have asked me, like, you play golf? Nope. You fish? No. What do you do? I work out, and I love my family and my job. Those are my hobbies because, look, if you want to be great at something, and I'm pulling for this guy because he's going to Northwestern.
Yeah, go Andrew!
And the Gatorade Player of the Year, I'm pulling for you because my mom had 5 brothers who went to Notre Dame, right? If you want to be great at something, you have to give something up. And to me, the most important thing was being a great husband, a great father, and a great coach. Not a great golfer, not a great fisherman, nothing else. I had enough on my plate, and I still live by that today.
Just going back to the number thing for one sec, though, because you won the World Series, the 27th, then the next year you turned to 28. And I heard you, when you were in 3rd grade, you wrote an essay about how you were going to play for the Cubs one day.
Correct.
So I'm just wondering, is like the secret to life to have these huge, bold projections that you wear so boldly on your back, like literally on your back? Like, is that...
Well,
Tell me about that
being in
audaciousness.
3rd grade, I think everyone probably in Peoria even either wrote there we're going to play for the Cardinals or the Cubs, right? So, but I had a drive because I had a passion. And you know what? I learned that from my parents. My parents had a passion. Now, their passion was different than ours. My father's passion was to give us a better life than he had. And he worked his butt off, right? My mother's passion was to do the same, but also to help children. She was a child psychologist and tried to put kids in programs where they could be successful. So I learned a lot of lessons from them. So I don't know if I was being bold. It was just, I was trying to send signals to the players what the goal was. And that it's always about the goal, because no matter what in life, there is some selfishness to it because we want to provide for our families. So a lot of times we think of only ourselves. But it was a reminder for me every day that there was a team thing here. There was for the coaches and the general manager and Mr. Steinbrenner for trusting in me. And I just felt like it was important. I love what Tony La Russa did. Tony La Russa was a brilliant manager, just brilliant. And I loved being around him, and I'm forever grateful because the one year that I played for St. Louis, and I was hurt most of the year, he would come to me after games and say, "Why do you think I did that?" And he says, "I'm just trying to teach you," because he knew I wanted to manage. So I'm forever grateful for that. But I don't think it's a boldness. I just think it's setting a goal. And I used to try to speak to the fans and speak to my players through the media. And I was never negative towards the players. I never criticized the players because, look, this is a hard game. It's a really, you're finding out this is a hard game, right? You're finding out it's going to get harder too because the competition gets better. And players know when they screw up. People know when they screw up. They don't need to be chastised and yelled at. The most important thing is to be an encourager in life, I believe. And I've always said that there's 2 things in life that we can't live without. And I got to tell you, you do a remarkable job in giving people food and water. But that's not what you're giving them that's most important. You're giving love and hope. Because I've always said, I would rather die physically than die mentally. And if you don't have that love and hope in your life, you are going to die mentally. And that's what you were giving these people, which I love. Like, I went over the other day, and they were explaining there was a shower, and we all take this for granted, right? And I started thinking, man, we all love after a long day to get in the shower and feel good, right? Feel clean. And I was thinking about the dignity that you're giving these people that have fallen on hard times, an opportunity to take a shower, to have new undergarments, and to feel good about themselves. And that is so important what you're doing. But I lost track of what we were talking about. But But I just think it's remarkable because without love and hope, we die. And that's what my mother taught me. She had the hope that she wanted to see this, this, and this. And the love for her children carried her 6 years. She's giving us 2 minutes. It's like Jim Valvano said. What do I?
She runs a tight ship. 5. Okay. I can't help but think how happy your mom would be that, like, we're all here
Yeah,
tributing her.
because they gave back.
Yeah.
My mother and my father always gave back. It was to a lot of different organizations, but it was also to cats and dogs, stray cats, stray dogs. We had a farm at our house, and we were not living on a farm.
Can we talk about your family real quick?
Yes.
So, as we said, you and Kim, 36 years. And I think we all have an awareness that it can be tough to do in professional sports. So what is the thing that has kept you two growing together?
I think it's us just putting the other person first. Like, for me, I always believe that we were put on this earth to serve and love others. Too many people think that we're put on this earth to serve ourselves. It's not why we were put here. And that's what we try to do. We try to serve each other. We try to love each other. She knows when I'm down. I know when she's down, and I know what she needs. And it's just being there for each other. And I think that she did a remarkable job because she gave up her career. Like, when I tell you she was smart, she was cum laude. She graduated cum laude, went and got her master's. She taught school. But when I got drafted by the Colorado Rockies in the expansion draft, she knew that if she stayed, it wasn't going to work. She had to follow me. So she gave everything up, sacrificed everything in her life, her desire to work. Because my wife loves to work. She loves to work. She'd come back and volunteer every year in the off seasons. But she gave it all up to keep us together as husband and wife and as a family. And we tried the 1 year of when I first came to New York, bringing the kids in June, July, and August, and then, not being there April, May, and September. We realized that didn't work, so we moved to New York. We knew the most important thing was to stay together as a family, and she knew that, and she did a remarkable job. And she would always say, home is where we're at. Because, we lived in 10 different apartments, and I was in AAA, I was in Winter Ball in Venezuela, I was in Winston-Salem, I was in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Rockies, the Cardinals, and it always fell on her to do everything, and she was great at it. And that's why we have such a strong marriage. And she really is the rock of our family, and anyone who thinks that the mom's not the rock is crazy, right? And I will tell you young men something, right? Don't give up, right? My wife wanted one date. We've been together 40 years now. It's one long date. Don't let them say no.
Man, so much more I want to talk about. Okay, going back to New Covenant Center, what made you say yes to being part of this evening and to coming and seeing what we're doing? By the way, you don't have to have a World Series ring to come for a tour. It's open to everyone. But what made you lean into being here tonight?
Well, I think that I talked about that we were put on this earth to help others. And I knew by coming, it would help others. And that's always been really important to my wife wherever we've been. We had our own charity for a fairly long time to help. My father died of Alzheimer's, cancer. We lost my mother. We lost her sister. Her sister was 47. She had 2 boys. Fertility. 2 of our kids are fertility. The other one is real. And then scholarships, right? Scholarships for kids that kind of fall through the cracks where they may not qualify for enough financial aid, But we didn't want to see kids have 30 and 40 and 50,000 debts when they got out of college. So we would help kids. So it was a mom and pop run store, her and I, but we've always thought it's important to give back. And by coming here, I feel like I have a chance to give back.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Any parting words for the people of Fairfield, Connecticut?
Well, I just think it's wonderful that you're here and that you care, right? And I think about, is some of the things that we take for granted, breakfast in the morning, coffee in the morning made for us, right? So many people don't have. And whatever you can give, it's wonderful because it makes a difference. I was in the pantry. Where's the young lady? Met
Linda,
you in
right
the pantry.
here.
Yes, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the work that they're doing is incredible. And I think, I've been really down on my luck at times, but I never face the challenges that so many people have. And it's so encouraging to me that you're doing more, that you're giving people a plan and giving people hope that they can do it on their own. And that's dignity, right? When we feel like we accomplished something on our own, we feel really good. So it's more than just giving them a meal and a shower. It's giving them hope. And I appreciate everyone being here. I love that you want to give back and that you support this wonderful charity.
Thank you, Joe Girardi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joe, that was very heartfelt to give honor to your mother. I promise you I'll be very quickly. So 9 months ago, I stepped into the role of director of New Covenant Center for Catholic Charities of Stamford, an honor I hold with deep gratitude. My charge is clear: to move our mission forward, strengthen our programs, expand our reach, and ensure every person who walks through our doors is met with dignity, respect, and compassion. I have a saying: we have to die to self in order to show compassion. I want to recognize my boss, John Gutman, for 11 and a half years of putting up with little old me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your support. And thank you for the foundation that you have set for me to go forward. I'm going to miss you, but you're only a phone call away. As we look ahead, we are entering an exciting new chapter. Our move into a larger facility will allow us in senior nutrition program who service adults 65 and older with daily home-delivered home meals, providing meals at community congregate sites to expand our services and deepen our collaborations. Some of my partners are Building One Community, Liberation Program, AmeriCare, DOMIS, the Undies Project, Food Rescue US, just to name a few. These partnerships will help us provide not only meals, but also health support, education, stability, and a pathway towards hope and independence. Most importantly, none of this work happens without our extraordinary staff and volunteers. I love y'all. Their compassion, their resilience, their commitment are truly the heartbeat of New Covenant Center. They show up each day prepared to serve with dignity and kindness and care, even during the most difficult moments. Tonight, I want to thank each and every one of you. Your generosity fuels every meal served, every family supported, and every life touched. Because of this community, our neighbors know they are not forgotten. Together, we are creating a community where dignity is honored, compassion is lived out every day, and no one is left behind. Thank you. Tonight, I have the honor to introduce to you our client testimonial speaker, Nick Greco. Nick is a Stanford resident whose life was transformed through the support of Catholic Charities and New Covenant Center. After facing homelessness, hunger, and personal loss, Nick found stability, purpose, and hope. And today, he shares his story as a powerful example of resilience and the impact of compassion and second chances. Please put your hands together and help me welcome Nick Greco to the stage.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. My name is Nick Greco, and I am honored to share how Catholic Charities and the New Covenant Center have changed my life. A year after losing the last of my family, I found myself living in a house with no electricity, no heat, and no food. My food stamps had just expired, and it was Christmas time. And for 5 days, I hadn't eaten. A caseworker of mine finally urged me to go to the soup kitchen. I was embarrassed. But on January 2nd, 2025, I walked through the doors of New Covenant Center and had my first meal in days. I'll never forget that moment. Over the next several months, New Covenant Center became more than a place to eat. They gave me food, clothing, a place to shower, and something I had not felt in a long time, safety. As I grew more comfortable, I started volunteering there, wiping tables, washing dishes, helping in the pantry. At that time, I had not worked for 10 years. But volunteering helped me believe that I could again. With New Covenant Center's support, I applied for dozens of jobs, interviewed, and eventually was hired at Goodwill, where I have now been for almost a year next month. Thank you. However, what truly makes the New Covenant Center special are the people. Valeria Carbajal welcomed me from day one and became the heart and glue that keeps everything together. Chef Renee, Miss Renee, Linda, and Raphael serve more than just meals. They serve compassion. So. Tiaja Vincent checked on me every single day and was the first person I trusted with my story. You've met a few tonight. The volunteers, every man, woman, and child, they are the reason New Covenant Center changes lives, including my own. And to directors John Gutman and Betsy Lopez, your leadership showed true compassion. John, you've always seen the best in people. And Betsy, you've always led by example in every situation. I have deep respect for both of you. Thank you so much. And finally, Yvette Gonzalez, Senior Case Manager of New Covenant Center. She has always believed in me when I have not believed in myself. She's helped me to find work, secure shelter, and even stayed with me when my gallbladder ruptured and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. She will say she was just doing her job, but she has helped save my life. Because of the New Covenant Center, I found stability, hope, community, and even met my wife, Jessica. Te amo, mi amor. If you take one thing away from tonight, please let it be this. New Covenant Center gives people like me a second chance. Your generosity keeps that hope alive. Thank you all, and please have a good night.
Wow, Nick, thank you for sharing that very personal story. We're so proud of all that you've accomplished. And I'd like to thank all the New Covenant Center employees that he just pointed out. And you can see the love and the impact that they make on people's lives. So thank you. So I know we're a little late on time, but just give us a few minutes. We do need to raise a little bit of money. As many of you know, we're bursting at the seams in our current facility and have limited space to provide the much-needed wraparound services that are key to our programs. In our new facility, we have more space for our food programs, but food is just the beginning. Everyone who walks through our doors, like Nick at one point, is facing challenges. And we will now be able to provide more guidance and additional services in addition to food to give them a hand up to a better life. We're extremely excited to have the space to work with many of our nonprofit partners and neighbors, many of whom are here today, Liberation Partners, B1C, AmeriCares, and many others, to share resources in helping our mutual clients. If you haven't seen it yet, please come for a tour of our new space. Now, many of you in this room have made generous contributions to our capital campaign to provide the funding to make our dream of moving into the new building become a reality. We are eternally grateful for your generosity, and we thank you so much. But we are here tonight seeking your support to fund our day-to-day operations, allowing us to continue to help people like Nick turn their lives around. We have a $1.7 million annual budget, of which 90% is privately funded by generous people like all of you. And today, the need is so great, and we so need your help. Our clients, many of whom are service workers, earning minimum wage, and often working 2 jobs, are struggling due to the rising cost of rent, of food, of childcare, and basic needs. In Stanford, 1 out of every 6 children are food insecure. In 2025, unsheltered homelessness in Connecticut increased by 45%. Now, I know you don't see a lot of that in our day-to-day lives in Fairfield County, but there are a lot of people that are out there struggling, and we're there for them. You know, so many in this community need our help. Food is the first step, but our focus is on working with these families to address the root causes of the problem. So now we need to raise some money to support our work. If everyone in this room could consider giving something significant according to their means, we can have a huge impact on improving the lives of our neighbors in need. So we're going to start with a live auction of a few items. And the first one's a Yankee package, so I'd love to ask Joe Girardi if he could come up here on stage. And wasn't Joe fantastic? Was Joe incredible or not? Thank you, my friend. You're the best. Okay. So first we have 4 Yankee tickets that were donated by Joe and the New York Yankees. It's at a mutually agreed upon date, so you don't need to decide on the date now. I can't tell you exactly what the seats are, but we know they're going to be good seats. And the key thing is you're going to have the opportunity to go on the field at Yankee Stadium for batting practice. Really a treat to go on the field at Yankee Stadium. I think you'll get to see how big Aaron Judge really is. He's a little taller than you, isn't he, Joe? Yes, he's just a little bit tall. Okay. So we get 4 tickets at Yankee Stadium. Everybody get those paddles ready if you're a Yankee fan. We're going to do this quick, and we'll do the call to generosity quick. But let's start the 4 Yankee tickets at $1,000. Who can start me at $1,000? $319, $1,500. Will we go to $1,500? How about $2,000? $2,000 right there. $2,500. Okay, $2,500 on the field. $3,000, $324. $3,500. Anybody go to $3,500 for Yankee tickets right here? $336. Do I hear $4,000? $388. Thank you, George. We're at $4,000. Do I hear $4,500? 4 Yankee tickets, batting practice. We want to move this along. Sold to you, George. Thank you. Number 388. Okay. And Joe's going to stay here with us. The second is also Yankee tickets. Donated by Tim Harper from Lockton. Where's Tim? Tim's here somewhere right here. So these are 4 tickets on Father's Day. Okay, Father's Day is Sunday, June 21st. It's a 1:30 game against the Cincinnati Reds. And these are legend seats. Now, I've never sat in the legend seats. I think you get waiter service. I think you can get a manicure and a pedicure or something. And you got all kinds of great things. These are the ones right behind home plate that you see on the TV. They're incredible seats.
The food in Legends is incredible. There's lamb chops, there's a pasta station, there's pizza station, there's candy stations, there's ice cream stations, sushi station.
4 tickets, Father's Day. Who wants to take their father to Yankee Stadium on Father's Day or take the family? Let's start that at $1,000. Who's going to start there? $319. How about $1,500? $164. $2,000. Do I hear $2,000? Thank you. Do I hear $2,500? $2,500 right here. Do I hear $3,000? That's $3,000 back there. We're at $3,000 for the legend seats. Anybody else? $3,000, $3,500, $3,500 right here. $319. Anybody go to $4,000? $3,500 going once. Sold number $319. Thank you for Yankee tickets. Okay. And Joe, if Joe can stay with me for one more. The final thing that we're going to do is auction off famous Stanford chef Michael Marchetti, owner and head chef at Columbus Park in Stanford. The Marchettis are a famous family in Stanford. Incredible Italian restaurant. Joe, I know you're a cook. You're Italian and you're a great chef. I think you'd love Michael Marchetti's food. So what Michael is going to do, Michael will come to your home, cook a meal in your home for 10 people. I've been at one of these events before. Michael is an incredible entertainer and a great chef. He'll cook a fantastic meal for you. You got to provide the wine, but Michael will provide the food and everything else, and the food is incredible. So 10 people in your home. Let's start that at $2,000. Who wants to start there? Right here, $358. $2,500. Thank you. How about $3,000? $3,000 in the back. Thank you. How about $3,500? Do I hear $3,500? Right over here. How about $4,000? Michael Marchetti in your home, right over there. You turn the paddle around. It helps me a little bit. All right. How about $4,500? Anybody go to $4,500? Michael Marchetti, 10 people, number 203. We're at $5,000. Anybody go to $5,000? Michael, $320. Thank you. $5,500. Do I hear $5,500? Do I hear $5,500? Ginny. All right. $5,500. Ginny Wong. Do I hear $6,000? Who'll go to $6,000? 10 people in your home, number 320. $6,000. Do I hear $6,500? Do I hear $6,500 for Michael Marchetti? Going once, going twice. Sold over here, Andy Parker. That's number 320. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe. Okay, now we're going to do a quick call to generosity. And this is how we raise money for New Covenant Center for the key services that we provide all the time. This is not my favorite part of my job. It's probably not yours either, but I promise that we'll move this along quickly, and it's all for a great cause. And if you don't like raising your hand, you can drop off a check on the way out or pay by credit card on the way out. And I do have some fantastic news. We're extremely blessed that during this call to generosity, that our first $150,000 of donations will be matched by 2 extremely generous donors. One, Liza and Chris Poley, where's Chris? Right here, has committed $75,000 towards the match. And another local family who's asked to be anonymous they will also contribute $75,000. So, again, $150,000 of the first money that you donate. So if you were thinking about donating $1,000, it turns into $2,000. If you were thinking about donating your SpaceX stock that was private and went public today and is now worth millions of dollars, we will take that as well. But again, thank you to the Polies and our anonymous donor. This match is a really big help and is going to really assist us in raising money today. So I also have one anonymous donor that came to me that's willing to donate $15,000. We have a $15,000 donor. Is there anybody else out there that could also consider a $15,000 donor? I know it's a big stretch. Over there, 379. Thank you, Brian and Ann. Thank you, number 379. Thank you, thank you. Anyone else at 15,000? Okay, we're going to go to $10,000, and we have a number of donors already. There's two generous supporters from Temple Sinai of Stamford who couldn't be with us tonight, who have graciously donated $10,000 each. That's Terry and David Rubin and Shelley Leibowitz. And I can't tell you what an incredible partnership we have with the synagogues here in Stamford. They show up every Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to serve the meal at New Covenant Center because they know it's an important thing for our guests. So those two couples have each donated $10,000. Now, I don't know where I came from. We had a thing called Catholic guilt. And so the people from the two synagogues have stepped up at $10,000 each. Do I have anybody in the room who could commit $10,000 to the number 320? Thank you. Number 157. Number 220. Number 262. Number 318. Number 312. Incredible $10,000 from all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a huge help. Thank you very much. Okay, and if you did have that SpaceX stock, it traded up. If you bought it in the private market, think about how you could share some of that. Okay, next we're going to go to $5,000. Do I have any donors who could consider $5,000? Number 303 in the back, Michael, thank you. Number 381, Jay and Mary, thank you. Number 300, thank you. That's Barbara and Peter, thank you. Number 260, number 154, number 324, $5,000 donors, number 107. Thank you, thank you, thank you. $5,000 number 355. Thank you, Sarita and Greg. Thank you. 355. And number 203, 5,000. Some of you are a little shy getting that up there, but thank you. We're raising a lot of money to help our neighbors in need. Okay, we're going to go to $2,500 next. $2,500. Who can help us with a $2,500 donation? Number 336. Number 299. Barry, you got to flip that around so I can read the number. Thank you. Number 253, number 321, number 156, number 215. No, I see. Oh, number 255. Thank you, Carol and Conrad. Number 301 in the corner. Thank you. $2,500 donors. Number 304. Thank you. That looks like Bill, Mr. Notre Dame. Many thanks. $2,500 donors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, $1,000. Who can help with $1,000? Now, you go to a restaurant these days with a family of 5 or a big group, you're going to spend $1,000. And for us, the $1,000 can serve a tremendous number of people in our food cafe and our food pantry. So, $1,000 donors. Let's start over on this side. Number 211, number 306, number 150. Number 313, number 267, number 302, number 152, 164, 218, 208, 314, 315, 350, 209, 254, 158, 364, 386, 208, 256, 322, 385, 370, 264, 213, 308, 112, 307, 362, 102, 369, 268, 326. Wow, this is a lot of numbers, and I'm really happy to call them out. 207, 298, 105, 155, 358, our honoree. Thank you. Number 356 over in the corner. Did I miss anybody? 251. That was an incredible number of $1,000 donations, and that's going to really help us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, I think it's two more quick levels. $500. Anybody who can help us with a $500 donation? 162, 216, 265, 272, 151, 214, 335, 296, 109, 373, and that's it. Thank you for $500 donors. We're gonna do one last level, and again, if somebody has different levels in mind, you can always talk to us out front through your DAF. Hopefully people have money in DAF funds that have done so well recently. We're always happy to take some money from those funds. But $250, who can help us with $250? That looks like number 100. Can you turn it a little bit? Number 205, 254, 323, 334, 360, 375. You're pointing. 217 and 382. You're testing my eyesight, but I think we got through everybody. So listen, I can't thank all of you enough. We have a sold-out crowd tonight. We were so excited to have Joe Girardi with us, and wasn't he fantastic with us tonight? You know, I think many of you were with us last year. We had Father Greg Boyle with us, and the thing he talked about is that we all belong to each other. And, you know, you've all stepped up to help our neighbors in need. And I can't thank you enough for all that you do. So many of you volunteer with us at New Covenant Center. I would urge you, if you're not involved in New Covenant Center, please try to get involved. Come volunteer someday. I promise you, you'll get as much or more out of it than you give. You could, if you're interested in serving on our advisory board, please see Ginny Wong. But most importantly, spread the word about our work and come for a tour of our new building. I do want to direct guests. Joe, I believe, is going to stay for a few pictures up by this screen over here. So if anybody wants a picture with Joe, come over here and see him. There are a lot of ways to pay, either by credit card or DAF, and you can check out on the way. But my final message is thank you, thank you, thank you. We so appreciate New Covenant Center wouldn't exist without all of you. So we really appreciate your help. Great job. Well done.